ESPN, it is the Pelicans taking on the Warriors. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. I want to thank Jalen Brunson for coming through. You can always get exclusive content with our guests when you listen to the podcast. Jalen, last night the Celtics needed a win. You thought, they're going to play the Cavs? No problem. Guaranteed W. The Celtics lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are tanking. Jalen, what does this tell you about the Celtics' attitude and approach to the game right now?
Before Jaylen Brown got hurt, I told you that they were going to be a first-round exit. Now they're playing like a team that has quit on Brad Stevens, that isn't really enthusiastic about even participating in the play-in. That's what I see. And I hope they turn it around if and when that opportunity presents itself. But that was a Kevin Love showcase game. It was a Kevin Love showcase game.
What do you mean by that?
This offseason, you're going to hear rumblings about where he's going to end up. And then we're going to reference this night again if and when the Celtics get mentioned. Stay tuned.
Well, Jalen, there's some good news and some bad news for New York Knicks and New York Knicks fans. The good news, they clinched the playoff spot. First time since 2003, they clinched a playoff spot. And as someone who jumped on the Knicks bandwagon, I do have to say this. The number 6 seed is very different than the number 5 seed this year, okay? You can clinch a playoff spot, but if that first round is against the Bucks, it is very different than that first round being against the Heat or the Hawks. I am very confident in the Knicks' ability to get to a Game 5 against the Heat or the Hawks. Not that confident in their ability to get to a Game 5 against the Bucks.
I'm proud of you, my brother, that you invented words in the sports vernacular like stretch mark 5 and die easy fan. But you're just taking it way too far. You're off the Knicks already? At least let the season end.
I'm not rooting for the Knicks. I want them to win. We always say success is a function of realistic expectations. And realistic expectations in a 7-game series against the Bucks are to get 1 win and go 5 games. Anything above that is all good. Jalen, we have some news breaking in the NBA. The NBA has named a social justice award after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It will be awarded to the player that has, in their mind, done the most in the fight against inequality. How do you feel about that?
When I jump in my car, people treat me like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Legend. Okay? Holy grail. Icon. On and off the floor. Never have a basketball conversation about the GOATs and not include Kareem. Never have a conversation about social justice athletes and not mention Kareem. This is well deserved. It's an honor to know him, and I need this to be highlighted. So I'm glad we're talking about it on the show.
Thanks again to Jalen Brunson for coming by. We'll be back tomorrow on ESPN at 2 p.m. Jalen Rose, the Los Angeles Lakers revealed the championship banner. Will they get another one at the end of this season?
That's a beautiful scene. Great to see AD and LeBron and Jeannie Buss and the family, Lakers Nation, enjoying their 17th championship to tie the Celtics. That's as close as you'll get to a championship. Let's start the show.
He is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What exactly is it that we do?
What up, though? We get the people what they want.
There is so much to discuss in the NBA, and we will discuss some of that with the Mavs, Jalen Brunson, later. But we start with the return of the beard in Brooklyn. James Harden is back, and Jalen, he didn't even look like he missed a step. I liked what I saw from him. What do you think?
When you step through to Brooklyn, so he's a masterful playmaker, and when he's out on the floor, I appreciate his role now with the Nets is to understand that he got to make everybody around him better. He's the facilitator. He's the orchestrator. He's the quarterback of the offense. Kyrie's the assassin. Is going to go one-on-one and try to go for 35 every night. KD, Iceberg Slim, shooting trades from the suburbs. James Harden is the guy that now everybody else wants to move, and Jeff Green wants to cut, and Claxton is getting dunks, and Harris can now get more opportunities. And he plays at his own pace. And I know what you're now going to say to me. Hey, Jalen, since Harden is back, are you ready to predict that the Nets are going to win it all? Is that what you're ready for me to say? Is that what you're ready to challenge me on?
I like you going against the Nets. I like you picking against the Nets because I know the Nets are going to come out of the East, and you're going to change your pick eventually. But one thing I love about James Harden, he's very self-aware. He understands who James Harden is, and here's what he had to say after the game.
Not to like brag or anything, but I'm really good at this game.
I love this. He's like, look, I'm going to be humble about this, but like, I'm really good at basketball. So y'all might be surprised that I look so good playing basketball today, but I'm really good at basketball. Love it so much.
And also, based on the sacrifice each needs to make, KD is a two-time Finals MVP. We've seen Kyrie win a championship. James, now making this a supers team, has to be the one that makes the sacrifices. And fortunately for them, his game is built to do so. Years ago, people thought I was bugging when I said Harden is the most unique offensive weapon that has ever played in the NBA. You know, George Gervin got my phone number right. You know, I had so many people hitting me that was like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, he's the only guy that's ever gonna lead the league in total threes made, free throws made, total assists. Just think about that. Usually that's 4 different guys. James Harden has been the embodiment of your unique talent, and now that he's healthy, I know why you're very excited about the Nets. But their big three still has only played 7 games together.
Well, when James Harden is on the floor, the Nets are 28-7. When he is off, they're 11-11. They're certainly in a better spot with him than without him. And we move on to another team looking to get all of their superstars on the floor, and that is the Los Angeles Lakers, who we just saw raise the banner. Well, didn't have the superstars on the floor for this one, but they did have some good contributions from others. What do you think about the bench coming through in this one?
When teams win championships, there's a reason why everybody affiliated gets a ring. Family members, people that work in the organization, even sometimes people that cover the team, and everybody on the roster. Of course, we're going to celebrate LeBron James and his excellence and Anthony Davis being their top players. But if you're looking now deeper into the Lakers roster, Kyle Kuzma giving them quality minutes. Andre Drummond has now started to play better. THT with Schroeder and Caruso out is now giving them a great opportunity to win games. So each of those guys feel confident about themselves. Montrezl Harrell was just recently getting DNPs, Jacoby. He's the 6th man of the year. It just shows you the kind of depth that they have when they're healthy.
Well, when you look at where the Lakers are in the standings in the West, we talked yesterday about how maybe going to the play-in game wouldn't be the worst thing because you end up matched up with the Suns instead of the Clippers. But the Blazers won yesterday against the Jazz. The Mavericks won yesterday against the Pelicans. They're not giving up the 5 and 6 spot. I think the Lakers will end up in 7 in the play-in, and I also think that's not the worst thing in the world. What do you think?
I agree with you. All things relative. However, you don't have room for error when you flirt with the play-in game. I mentioned the Lakers last night, but LeBron wasn't playing, and AD wasn't playing. And AD has a groin injury. And you know what I learned about those? They don't necessarily heal overnight. So this is something that likely is going to linger with Anthony Davis. So the goal should be to play less games, Jacoby, and not more. You put yourself in the play-in, all of a sudden a freak injury or accident happens, Steph Curry goes out and puts up 45 on you, and before you know it, you're out in the play-in. And so it's important for them, yes, if all things are relative, to play against the Suns versus the Clippers. But they're not in a position to play those games because you're now flirting with a single or double game elimination because you're involved in the play-in.
I fully expected LeBron James to be in uniform when that banner was revealed. Didn't you? Because we thought maybe he would play Tuesday night. And the idea that he wasn't available, that he wasn't in uniform when that banner was revealed, was a little bit concerning for someone who definitely has the Lakers coming out of the Western Conference. But I look forward to seeing him on the court soon. I don't think he's going to make his debut in a play-in tournament. Jalen, it is now time for some unfounded